If companies in London are saying only 50% of PR practitioners are being invited into the C-suite, I would say the number would be even lower for Asia Pacific. It could be as low as 20%, 30%, depending on the level of maturity of the market. I'm not alarmed by it. I would like to see PR be more adopted as a business tool, of course. But I understand that there is an evolution. I mean, if you look at 20, 30, 40 years ago, PR wasn't even on the table as part of the marketing mix for a lot of companies. So we've come a long way. I also believe that PR practitioners, instead of bemoaning the fact that we're not invited into the C-suite, we have to up our game as well. If as a communicator, all I talk about is coverage, clippings, measuring advertising value of clippings, that's not useful to a CEO. We need to come in with the strategic view and the ability to work with the CEOs as a trusted advisor to help them formulate their vision and their strategy. And in order to do that, we need to be more advanced thinkers in how PR can be a tool to drive the conversations that are going on today. As a company, Waggener has spent a lot of resources and investment dollars in creating tools and methodologies that allow us to have those conversations with CEOs. We have moved beyond talking about clippings. That's so 10 years ago. Today, we want to talk to CEOs about the correlation between their investment in communication and the ultimate business goal that they want. And we need to be able to draw a line between the two so that investment in PR can translate into ROI in business. And quite frankly, if you talk to a lot of business leaders today, many of them don't even know what their ultimate business goal is. I think if you ask a lot of business leaders, they would say, well, my business objective is to sell more products. I don't think that's very strategic. I think if you have the best sales performance today, does that translate into turning you into a long-term successful company 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road? It doesn't necessarily do that. So I think business leaders or CEOs, they have to have that long-term vision as well. And as PR practitioners, we need to be able to work with them to advise them on where they can take their company. And I'm a firm believer that if you are a progressive, strong business leader, you take value wherever it comes. So whether it's a PR professional or advertising professional, if they come into the C-suite and they say something that's valuable to the CEO, they will have a place at the table. But we have to make sure that we get to that point first before we ask to be let into the C-suite. We're seeing a rise in digital. A lot of companies have moved from being cautious or fearful of social media to today actually actively coming to us and asking for help with social media. We have a very large portfolio of social media tools and methodologies that was developed in the US, and we are seeing because of the sophistication of the markets, that those tools are increasingly in demand in Asia today. So I'm very happy to see that markets are moving forward. We're also looking at emerging markets like Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, but I think those are kind of on the watch list. But we like to work with clients that truly value PR as a business tool, because the conversations that you're having are very, very different from clients that view it as just a transactional part of the marketing toolbox.